This is Zero, and today I brought Art NUstal TV here, so I get let the brother introduce himself.
Greetings, everybody. This is Art New Style here with you on a Saturday, Saturn Day. Hope everybody's well and sit back and enjoy the ride.
All right, brother. So I know you do art. It's like I know you call yourself Art NUstal TV. So what gave you the idea for that name?
Well, I went on and I was joining different panels and getting an idea what was missing, I guess, in our circle. And I spoke with people like yourself, Char Willie, DeAndre, and then Jack Black Japan to, you know, find out what would be feasible. Well, how should I be able to start things? So um, then I kind of got some ideals just being on L&P's panel, and I mean, the rest was history. I just started drawing a lot on different panels like BGS, and I figured I'd just go ahead and do this on my own channel and cover things I normally talk about on other panels. So still growing.
Okay, so you say you do drawing. So what type of art do you do?
Wow, I think I do everything except for metalwork. No, I paint, draw with pencil, charcoal, color pencil, ink, sculpture. Uh, when I say paint, I mean oil paint, acrylic, watercolor. I don't do tattoos. I probably do a design for one, but I don't do tattoos. I don't do that. What else? I mean, I do a lot of graphic design, digital art type things, Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, Dreamweaver. I'm still on the Dreamweaver phase for websites, things like that. But and plus, I teach. Yep,
Okay.
that's it.
So you teach art art too, don't you?
Yes,
Is
I
that
teach at the high school level and at the college level, and I also
okay?
teach in Brazil 3 times a year. I took a break, but usually I go 3 times a year. It's going to be only twice this year.
Okay, so do you just teach painting, or are there different things that you teach in
Everything,
painting?
when it depends on what the person wants to learn, but we definitely have to start off with graphite pencil. And I'm talking about the cheap number 2 pencils because I don't want people to get all stuck on, uh, different types of what do you call it? People say, "Well, I got this professional pencil." It don't matter. You can still suck. you know. So I just get people to stay with the basics later on, whatever they want to explore. Yes, with color pencil, charcoal, or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I mean, is it just so like the reason why you tell them do it is just so like they'll if they can do it with the graphite pencil, they can do it with any type of pencil.
Exactly. Of course, there's certain things where people want to make things pitch black when they're drawing. So, that's when we start getting things like a 6B or 8B pencil. Cut out some time, things like that. But in the meantime, you want to get the basics down. Line, shape, value, in your own color.
Okay. So what's the difference between a 6B and an 8B pencil?
A 6B is lighter than the 8B. I think the 9B is the darkest, but 8B, like if you just trying to fill in something, that would be your ideal. Some people do it for hair, like if you got that dark hair, you want to be believable. Um, because it's very thick. So when you start dealing with your bees, it give you that grainy type of texture. Or if you're dealing with lower B's to like just the actual HB, which is the middle, it's more smooth, but it's more lighter.
Okay, so what's the? Do you know what the B stands for in there? Like, cause I'm kind of curious about that.
The bold black. I know H is hard,
Okay.
but I think bold is black. And there's a F. F is fine. H is hard. I think B is either bold or black. I'm not. I don't remember that.
Okay,
I
so
use it.
like also so like each of the pencils like represents like how light or dark it is, like kind of a spectrum of those
Right.
pencils. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So it's yeah. It's like I said. It depends on the passion, man. Like if you're really into graphite, then you buy your different types of level pencils. If you go into the light color pencils, you get to make as many as mistakes as possible because it's not detectable.
Oh wow.
You can do all your scribbling and all your extra lines there, but you start going a little, press a little harder when you're really sure on the lines you want. You know, if you're like indecisive on trying to make sure, okay, this works. A lot of animators get into your B's, not your B's, your H's.
Huh.
You know, like 2H, 3H, and they get a blue pencil, stuff like that. So you got to find your niche. Everybody's an artist, and you got to follow your spirit. If your spirit is calling you to create, then you got no choice. You got to create. Sometimes you pay for not creating. I'll probably talk about that a little later. If I could get it on
Okay.
get on my what do you call it, my receipts.
Yeah. Yeah. So I seen though like your live streams like yeah like you say usually drawing and all that. It's like what do you usually draw?
With my subject matter,
Yes. Yeah.
I'm pretty much the best at portraits, but you know, I I need to start doing other stuff. I mean, I can do everything else, but portraits I could just do off the top of my head almost because it's like I'm a people person, so I look at faces, different types of shapes and structures. Uh, but I mean, I like to do that, but I need to start. I can do figure drawings for sure. So mainly, I do action type body uh, poses, and then sometimes I get into like facial. My
Cool. What was that? What's the other part again?
bring
Kind
that
of.
on
What's that
board.
last part again? Yeah, a little bit. But you, I mean, good now. But it was.
My specialty
Oh, you back.
is more into like smiling, drama, surprise, those kind of things. I try to get more into facial expressions. So that's what I'm
Okay.
kind of known
Okay. Yeah. And like I see you do a lot of like pictures and all that. And do do anybody ask you like to do portraits or anything like that or paint for
Yeah, I used to do that a lot and I got tired of it because you don't want to just be known as a portrait artist, unless that's your
'em? Right.
thing. I don't want to be coined into one category, but that was a good way to make a quick buck, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, there's always someone that's saying, hey, do my mom, my grandma, my son. But I will say this, and I hope people don't get all discouraged, but just know what the artist is thinking. A portrait is not a full body with your car in front next to you and all this kind. That's not a portrait. That's a picture. That's a composition. Okay, a portrait is like all the way no lower than the shoulders and the head. That's a portrait. Uh, yeah, people wanted you to reinvent the DNA and all that kind of stuff, and they didn't want to pay you much money. So I just, I kind of like took a break from that because the artist is supposed to put based on what they see, not not something that, people act like the person that you're drawing. We don't know these people. We just going by what you gave us. So it's always good when people are giving some kind of portrait request, have some shadow in that portrait. Run away from those Polaroid party shots, and because you got to, and I'm not really trying to say that, hey, we can't do it. It just, you got to go through a whole bunch of stuff, because you have, if the information is not there in the photo, we have to almost guess or make it up, and then hope that you're okay with it. So there's lots of details. There's lots of details, but at the same time too, it's always best to draw from life. I'm gonna always say that it's best to draw from life, because when you're dealing with a photo, it flattens the shadow. If that makes sense, it makes things flat. But if you're dealing with a real life person, that you can see the shadow wrapping around the cheek, and see the shadow wrapping behind the neck and the head, and you'll be able to capture that. So when you start taking your work to get it looked at, as far as being hired for a job or being accepted in college, they can tell. Most of them can tell. I can fool them, but most people can tell that, like, no, you've been using photographs and magazines. That they, when you deal with the industry, they're not impressed with that. Okay, we are, as consumers and people. Oh, they look
Yeah.
real, but them, they know what to look for.
So what is that you like personally like to draw? Since you say you didn't really like portraits all that much. I mean, I think you say you like it, but ain't what you all want to
I
say.
just don't want to be known. I like portraits. I just don't want to be known as, because I could
Yeah.
do airplanes, cars, animals, landscape. I could do any of that stuff. I should be doing more time on it. I mean, metallics, water. I mean, I got some stuff that I've done with that, but I should be doing more. So that's what I've been really planning on doing this year. Just focusing on going to the beach and capturing the water scenes and sand and the ripples of the sand. That stuff is key. So I will be doing that, and I'll make sure my son learn that too. So
Okay. So what inspired you to be a painter or artist?
I don't know. I think Good Times, the sitcom Good Times, with JJ, Thelma, James Evans Sr., and his mom in Florida. And you talking about the early '70s, right? So I was little, but as I was growing, I was like, if this ugly dude can get women just by painting, then I think I should be all right. Because dude was ugly. I was sorry. I know it sound like rich dude ugly. So I'm like, okay. I just started getting more interested in painting and things. My mother was buying paper, not buying paper. She was bringing paper from her job because she was a teacher. So I was drawing on typewriter paper, y'all, because she was typing. And sometimes I had onion skin type. I don't know if anybody on the panel to remember. I used to draw on that. So yeah, I think the whole Good Times thing really got me to really want to do some drawing. I think I was probably like maybe 5 at the time, or 4. You know, my mom said I was 3, but I can't remember that far back. I take her word for
Wow, that's interesting. Do you have any historical figures that inspired you to keep painting?
it. Well, the artist that did the work for Good Times, his name is Ernie Barnes, and that was the one that really. got me into painting, and then I actually talked to him before, like a few years before he passed away. I did an interview with him, and let me see. Yeah, I did an interview with him for my thesis paper when I was doing my MFA degree, and I tried to record him, but I couldn't. My recorder didn't work, so I had to write down everything he said. I was writing my butt off too. Yeah, but Ernie Barnes is the main guy. Of course, you know the whole Frank Frazetta. That's the illustrator. Norman Rockwell. That's a big one for me. Uh, who else? I mean, of course, Leonardo da Vinci. That's a no-brainer. I always like Leonardo da Vinci more than Michelangelo. People like, why is that? I don't know. I'm just like that. But
Yeah, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah, I
But you
guess
know,
it's
the
like.
old masters.
Yeah, yeah, I guess it's like you like what you like.
You know, because that was my whole thing. It's very important to try to do something that nobody else can do. That was my whole thing as far as considering what a great artist is. If your nephew, if your 5 year old nephew can do the same things you're doing, I'm sorry, I'm not impressed. You know, people want you to be artistically sensitive and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, man, you know, if you got the talent, if you got the gift, then be it. But don't sit there and barely, you know, slap something on the canvas and put a shoe print on it, pee on it, and put it next to a Mona Lisa and say this is the same thing. Like that's insulting.
Hmm.
Yeah, but that's how I always was. But I had to really watch how I talk when I first got to art college. So I had to be very, I mean, like extremely sensitive for people.
So
But yeah.
besides the,
Mhm.
so besides the stream sensitivity, they're like, what was art college like for you?
Ooh wee. Talking about the chocolate chip and the cookie.
Hey, wherever you want to start.
Man, the first Negro. No, I'm joking. Uh, I take it back. I mean, like the first college I went to was California College of Arts and Crafts. They call it the California College of Arts, and this is in Oakland. And that was a full scholarship. And man, that's when I started really understanding abstract. Well, actually, no, not understanding because I still didn't understand it. I still was disrespecting it. I still didn't really get the whole the gist of why is this scribble stuff, you know, just as good as mine. I was very closed minded at the time on that one. And, you know, like my high school, they really made me feel like I was the man, you know. Anything anything that was supposed to be artistically created, they just called me. They pulled me out of class all the time. Like, me, you do this. I mean, we talking about grown-ups, teachers, principals, all that. I was like the Superman with a paintbrush, you know. But when I got to the college, don't get me wrong, I still was up there compared to a lot of people at the college, which that was another thing that confused me. A lot of people at that college really sucked. They really sucked because I wasn't that good, but they really sucked. I was supposed to be real good, but I don't think I was that good looking back at my old work. And but the people that really sucked was criticizing my work, and they said stuff like, you know, why don't you just take a picture? That looks too real, you know, or it has no life, things like that. And I'm sitting there, but there was always that one sister in the back going, "Oh, don't listen to them. You doing good," that kind of thing. But other than that, man, uh, the way it was like is crazy. Arts, the legit art school. Let me break down. Break it down. There's some art colleges that are fraudulent, and there are some colleges that you just can't wait to put on your resume and get you the job. And I hear some people on YouTube that went to some of these colleges that are they call them I think they call them made for profit colleges. If you look those up,
Mm.
they have a listing of them.
Yeah.
And these colleges particularly go for people that are trying to move out their house, I mean their mama's house, or they just want to go and do something. They got the commercials. You want to draw? Call this number. You know, the it, and later on, you signing things. They hoping that you're 18. You know, all you
Right.
need to be is 18. You sign. They call it a scholarship, but it's not really a scholarship. You know, it's mainly a loan. And I don't know. And I think a lot of people sued them for that. But what happens? I mean, if you miss so many days, you miss a semester or whatever it is, or you leave early, you in debt like thousands of dollars from a scholarship. Hmm. So that right there, those are different colleges that you want to stay away from because even when you put that college on your resume, these companies will laugh at you. And the crazy part also is that these colleges use people's artwork that didn't even go there to advertise.
Mm.
And I'm like, what? I'm not gonna name the name of the colleges, but just I think they're called made for profit colleges. I think that's the name of them. And
So
they
like,
got a lot of them got sued.
so
Go
like,
ahead.
so like, so like, so even if you graduate from one of these colleges and you try to get a job, doing something in art, it
They
wouldn't,
laugh
wouldn't
at you.
even.
It's a joke. And you
Okay.
get a bachelor
Oh
of
wow.
science degree. Think about that. A bachelor. I'm gonna say it slow. A bachelor of science degree for art. Okay.
Wow.
So I mean, like legit companies, they laugh at you, but you're just happy because you got a degree. Blink, blink. Okay. So no, you got to make sure you get that BFA. I'm gonna say it again. You want a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree, not a BA, not a BS, because you know that's what it sounds like. BS. You want a BFA degree because that makes you look legit. That gets you paid. They know it shows that you know what you're doing for that particular industry. I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but you're better off with that rather than a BS degree. Okay.
Um,
So I had to really break that down because when I say in art college, people try to put it all in the same category. No. Like one of my colleges, that the college I went to, the first year, is part of the top 5 colleges in the nation. And the second one I went to, because I got tired of the Bay Area, no pun intended. I went to Cal Arts. If anybody know about Cal Arts, Cal Arts is like it's pretty much the top. It's still the top animation program in the world. Um, I prefer Art Center, but I went to Cal Arts because it's a Disney school. Disney owned it. I mean, still does. It used to be called Chenard Hall, but Disney took it over and just bought it, and so a lot of their animators come out of that college. And so
wow.
I went to that college for animation and film and video, and graphic design as a major. I mean, a minor. But for the first college, I just went there for a fine art, and it was for a what do you call it? It was fine arts, but it's called core. So I did my core year there, but I transferred, and I didn't get a full scholarship at Cal Arts, but I got enough to where it wouldn't go break the bank. And man, uh, I started meeting a lot of people that did Snow White, uh, Cinderella, Fox and the Hound, Peter Pan. Some of my teachers did some of those things. Um, but again, I still ran into people that just couldn't really draw, in my opinion. And I'm sitting there like, okay, I have to, work my butt off to get here and have a nice portfolio. Why does this stuff look like that? But that's another story in itself. But other than that, I start meeting a lot of different people from, I mean, that's when you get the weird people. I'm just going to be real. I'm an artist and everything, and I'm straight laced. But you got some weird ass artists out there, dude. They're weird as hell. It's like, damn. So, hey, um, I started running into people. I don't know if you guys remember Simbi Kali from Third Rock Under the Sun. She played the secretary on there. She was there. Nicole White. She's on different. She was on a lot of Fresh Prince stuff. John Amos's son was there. These were like they were into acting. See, it was weird because like remember I said I was a chocolate chip with a cookie. I was the
Yeah.
only black. Oh, I put this. I was the only ADOS dude in the animation department. Okay, and I didn't hang out with other animators. Hung out with people in the music department, the theater, and different departments. And so they were black. Dance department. I had a girlfriend in the theater, and I had another girlfriend in dance. So I mean, animation, man. It was snowing. I'm just say that with a little bit of yellow snow too. Put that way. So um, it was weird because you had all these crazy type of people that were trying to change your mind and different things. You got people that are trying to give you drugs. You have like this. You have people that were kind of like saying stupid stuff off the cuff just because they're in college. I'm gonna say this straight up because I do push college and everything, and I'm always on these panels talking about you need a college education. But I'm gonna just say this straight up. Some of the dumbest people I have met are in college. Okay. So I'm not trying to say that college make you smart. I'm just saying college gives you that piece of paper. That's it. Okay. So I met some dumb people in college. Dumb. I don't care if you're a senior. Some of them just dumb. I can't say no names, but wow. Um, but the other part too that I really would say is that that was probably the best learning experience on how I deal with people in the real world because you know the stuff that I was experiencing in the colleges, I was experiencing it more in the real world, and I knew how to handle myself. I knew how to show things. When I started applying for jobs, I always notice. See, when people get like when they get their major finished, what have you, they only have one thing to say. Hey, this is what I can do, and but what I learned in the college that I learned illustration, I learned graphic design, animation, computer animation. I mean, I had everything. So every time someone tried to say, get out of trying to hire me, well, we don't know, we can hire you because we're looking for such and such. I said, I do that too. Well, we were looking for something. I do that as well. We did it. I do that. Let me show you right here. Okay, when can you start? It was always like that. It was my interviews were like, you cannot give me an excuse not to hire me because I know how to do your job. So that it prepared me for that. With that, but any other questions on the college part? Because I think I probably went long winded on the college part.
They sure had a question. I don't know if you answered this or not, but ask it anyway. Is school necessary for an artist, and if so, why?
Um, it depends on the person. Because you had someone like a Bill Gates. Remember, he went on and went to college for a couple years maybe, and dropped out, and he got all the things that he needed that was necessary to fulfill his mission. But let's keep it real. Everybody ain't Bill Gates. Um,
That's true.
so I just think it depends on the person. It depends on the level of your intelligence. It depends on your ambition. If you're ambitious enough to, fulfill all these things without a college, then you're going to have to put in the work. But you got to remember the world that you're getting into, the kind of arena that you're setting. I mean, you're dealing with people that's supposed to be able to control what you do and what you don't do in the arts. Now, if you go into like the tattoo business and these little stuff at the park and all that kind of stuff, where you do things on the side, that's a little something different. But if you're talking about the big bucks with like George Lucas and those kind of things, you got to take your ass to college. I'm just gonna keep it real. You gonna have to put some time in and just learn some stuff that you didn't know before you got in that institution. Because that's what it's all about. All these different techniques and you got to be able to. It just gives you the opportunity to be with people that said that I've been there and done that type thing. And even like one of my professors at my master's program, he was a complete butthole. But you know what? I made his ass work. I'm like, you got the degree, you got the title, you're the professor. Okay, well, you're gonna teach me the stuff that you know. I don't care how angry you are, but how you do this. He had a little whatever, a little snide. Okay, okay, that's cool. How you do that? Put it this way: if you're getting paid, I'm gonna put you to work.
And
College
that's
ain't free. Go ahead.
that is. I said that is true.
Yeah. I had to put my portfolio together. I had to go through my interviews and all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, okay, so even if you're a butthole, I'm gonna put your ass to work. But I mean,
What?
it's probably different with younger folks because I was I was in my 30s at the time. I think I've been a little bit more timid in my 20s.
Okay. So how long? So how long did it take you to really break into the art business?
Well, it took about. I was kind of in it while I was in college because I used to
Okay.
work for Ice T. I did some stuff for what's his name? The dude from Bill DeVoe. Is it Bivens? No, it's DeVoe. Ronnie DeVoe. I did some stuff for him. I was mainly got my business cards out and just started doing like little animation stuff. Doing because I do an animation for this little Arab company, and I was doing logos and like magazine covers and things like that. So that was like the way to go at the time. But that money dries up. That and plus I only did a few weeks of Disney. That was my arrogant time because I felt that since I went to Cal Arts, I should not be doing in between and cleanup and doing the beginning stuff. I went to your school, that kind of thing. I had that arrogance about me, but that was kind of wrong. And plus, it was just a and plus the difficult thing was trying to get from the South Bay to Burbank. I don't know if anybody know that distance. In the morning, that's hell. And then on top of that, you getting 6 months every time you work on a cartoon. We're working on Hunchback of Notre Dame. Every time you do a cartoon, it's only for 6 months, and after you got to hope that somebody hires you for another job. And if they don't
Hmm.
hire you, you ain't paying your rent. So I kept thinking about that. I was weighing all that out. And I just called Marshall. His name Marshall told me. I said I just can't do it, man. I can't do it. You know. I don't even know if I think I still have my ID card. But I said, man, I can't do it, dude. And then later on, my mom just got me into teaching, you know, because I was struggling a little bit, still staying with her after college and everything. And she said, well, you just gonna have to just try. I was supposed to be subbing, doing a substitute teaching, and then
Yeah.
go in there and just teach for like maybe a few years or whatever, just do regular teaching after that. But that 5 years turned out to be 20, 24 years now. So
Hmm.
it's good and bad. But yeah, the art, I didn't really, like I said, I got more into the art business, more on the academic side, rather than just the actual business itself. So I rubbed elbows with a lot of people that did make decisions on what art was approved and what is and isn't and stuff like that. And it helped me to really understand how to break down aesthetics and what they're looking for. So usually I just prepare people to get into the industry more than anything else and make phone calls and stuff for them.
Okay. So I know you had talked about you had did some work with Brazil. What led you there?
Say it again, because you get like some round sound. You went back and forth. Say it again.
I'll say you say you did some work in Brazil, like teaching in Brazil. Like, what led you to do that?
Yeah, I first tried to do that in Japan
Oh,
because my professor, Glenn Vilpool, I'll throw his name out. He was always doing uh tours or drawing tour type stuff. So he would like put a package together and have people have their room and board taken care of, flight, and then he finds a place where he teaches a class in those countries like France, England, Italy, and stuff like that, and especially Spain. That's his spot right there. That's probably Prada. That's why. But um, I was trying to find a place to do the same thing. I wanted to do it in Japan, but the problem was they wanted me to teach English more than art, and I'm like, I mean, I can do a little English, but I don't want to just be the English teacher here. I don't want to. I'm coming out here for art, and so I don't know. We lost touch on that kind of thing. But DeAndre, we were talking about that a while ago. We're gonna try to help you get that back because Japan is a nice place. And
yeah,
then
yeah. Okay.
go ahead.
I was gonna mention like I remember looking up jobs overseas, and it's like mainly a lot of them are for like teaching English.
Yeah, that's the main thing. And it's all over Asia though. They if you know how to teach English, they snatch you right away,
Yeah,
big time. That's the big thing over there, man. So if anybody out there, look it up, find out if you want to make some money. You know, teach them English, get your grammar straight. And they pay good, man.
yeah, that's
They
big.
pay good. They pay good. So, um, but as far as the Brazil thing, man, it was so many bands and songs I liked, but I didn't realize it was from Brazil. I thought it was just some old African type stuff. And and then also I was in the martial arts, and I started really getting into capoeira, not actually doing it, but just really, admiring it. And I
Yeah.
didn't realize that movie. What is it called? It's the One Armed Bandit. The Master of the Flying Guillotine. That right there, that was some dude in capoeira there in that movie.
Mm,
And then I started getting more. I started learning more about the culture. About slavery and how they freed themselves using capoeira. So all that stuff was just really getting me interested. So I went out there and started teaching at a studio called Deep Hollow Studios. And, because people try to say, well, what about the ladies? I mean, that's automatic. That's anywhere. I mean, you saw ladies in Japan, so it's everywhere. But I went out there, man, and I mean, I felt very comfortable there. It's poor and everything and whatever in certain areas, and it's not like Japan it's nice and clean and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you damn near can eat off the ground, no I mean, nothing crazy over there that I witnessed. But in Brazil, it was more like it was like to me in certain like most areas, it was like Mississippi, it's like Alabama. It was like a lot of people that were just speaking a different language. I mean, it was the same thing almost. And so I just got more accustomed to that, and started teaching uh, in Portuguese.
mm,
So the more you start speaking the language, you know, I mean, I start blending in. And so the studio owner, he was like trying to make me stay and offer me more money, stuff like that. It's like, man, I gotta go back home. But yeah, the whole thing is that they really value how you teach more than anything because they got the basic stuff, just what do you call it? Put the shapes and stuff on the table, put a light above it. that kind of stuff, or what one thing that they don't really, one thing that I find that's very valued that they don't value, I find that they the use of the painter's knife. I don't know if people see it, the painter's knife art that works. I mean that, but they like whatever about it. I'm like, no, man, if y'all do that stuff over here, that just is good. But the main thing that got me there is the fact that I'm able to do something different than what normal people, I mean, regular people are doing over there. So my teaching style, you can't touch it. I'm standing on it right now. I'm bragging about it right now. So I can make anybody a star. I don't care what country, whatever.
Okay, you mentioned the painter's knife. I'm curious about that. What is it exactly?
It's a knife. It looks like a trowel type thing. Is I mean, it got different shapes, but usually the painter's knife is used just to mix your paint, so you won't get it all stuck in your brush, right? But some people use the painter's knife, the little edge, to do like straight lines because it gives you straight lines. And sometimes you can spread it across to like window textures and all that kind of stuff. Picasso did that a lot. There's a guy named Roscoe. He did that. Um, I don't have all the names in my head, but yeah, those particular things. You're painting with a knife. Some people really like that kind of work. You can do buildings, cars, things that are very square like. Or even, I mean, you can still do your roundness and stuff like that, but people like that whole straightness thing out there.
Okay, okay. Let's see. I think trying to see what other questions. But let's see. So, okay, how often do you go back? I mean, do you go back to Brazil,
Yeah,
or
I teach over there 3 times a year, sometimes four, depending on the. See, because what happens, I get the call, and when the owner gathers enough students, then they pretty much have enough money to pay for my ticket and my apartment, and then and a little money to put in my pocket. I just go out there and handle my business, and then I'm not thinking about Trump or anything over here. But it's funny because some people, man, well, not them, but the students I get over there, they got, once they get a bad habit, it's hard for them to get out of it.
yeah,
When I'm teaching, like, like my whole thing is don't use your wrist a lot when you're doing straight lines and large curves. And so I teach them and I walk away and they go right back to it. And we talking about, and these people in these classes are like doctors, lawyers, professors. These are like professionals that take these classes. I got to treat them like kids. I'm like, pada, você sabe, eu mostrar você antes, lembra? Like that. I say it like that. Like what I say is stop. I said, you remember what I told you last time, right? You remember? So, and they start laughing. The oldest student I had was 86 years old. Was it Susanna? Yeah, 86 years old. So,
mm,
yeah, man, I mean, I'm talking about as far as black folks, man, we everywhere. We everywhere. People got to realize that we everywhere. And I think it's best to represent more than misrepresent when you're going across the world. Because I can almost guarantee you, if another black person from here walks in that studio, they probably assume that they can do the same thing as I do. I don't know, or have that, or come from the same school of thought. That's what I'm trying to get people to see, that everywhere you go, you're setting an example for the next person that's coming behind you.
okay. So what advice would you give any future painters?
Say no to drugs and stay in school. No, I'm joking. Um, I forgot the other one. Don't be starting forest fires. But I think, man, the best advice is be real about what you need to do to get what you want. You got to be honest about that, and don't be letting people. My whole thing is don't let people that don't really have much to show for what they've done to give you a lot of advice because they're not your friend and they don't really care about you. In my opinion, I could be wrong, but I don't. I just don't see the care in it. I don't see the carefulness, the thoughtfulness. Um, I think people just need to start really getting into that, um, and start really studying the people before you that has gone where you want to go. Because there's nothing new under the sun. Um, you just can't really. How can I say? You just you can't reinvent the wheel, especially being an artist. Because when you're an artist, that's kind of big shoes to fill. Because and I'm not saying like trying to discourage people as far as pressure, but the reason why I say it's big shoes is because I mean look at the furniture in your houses, look at the cars, look at the street signs, look at all of the clothes. An artist did all that stuff, you know. An artist drew these things out. I mean, even the roads, an artist drew all that stuff. Logos. I mean, the fact that you looking at a logo make you hungry, an artist did that, you know.
Mm.
And that's something that people have to understand. I mean, even back in the ancient days, people, the royal families used to have artists stay in their homes until the project was done. They gave them royal treatment, you know. And right now, unfortunately, your art right now is social media. And the reason why I
Mm.
say unfortunate because people are putting too much in it instead of letting it. They're not using it as a tool. They're using it as your second brain. It's not a tool anymore. Now, if you're using
Mm.
social media as a tool to get the word out and all that, that's different. That's hey. But if you're using it as a tool to show you how to think, you know, uh, even discourage people or disparage people, or even put a thumbs down on your show, then that's just not the thing for you. Um, that's the best thing I can say is just be honest about what you need to learn to get where you need to go. If you're not honest, you're gonna be staying in your mama's house probably till you're 50. Or you can be working somewhere where you didn't want to work. You know, I think that's it.
Okay, I got a question from Jack Nick Kenobi. What style of art is your favorite? Abstract, impressionist?
Uh, I want to go with the Baroque period, the Caravaggio's type, the Renaissance period, that kind of stuff. Uh, Abstract and expressionism. Some things are unnecessary, but some abstract is real good, very professional. Going into Kandinsky, I always mention him. He's supposed to be the father of abstract and expressionism. He was part of that Blavatsky group. Imagine that. That's the lady that did the seances and the spiritual stuff, and I think it's what called Theosophy movement. He was part of her movement, and he wound up doing art based on being influenced by her, and they turned out to be abstract and expressionism. And he said that every time he hears music, he sees shapes.
Hmm.
A- And the thing too is that abstract when you hear I mean, when you read his book, I forgot his book. I had it right next to me. What's it called? I got it right here. It's called Concerning the Spiritual in Art by Wasali Kandinsky. But the thing is that I had to take it more serious because these are not just shapes. Some of these things you looking at it and it makes you feel a certain way or puts you in a certain zone or it does something with your energy because basically you're looking at the colors, you're looking at how like a color from the left side and a different color on the right side can make you feel a certain way. And if you switched it, it makes you feel different. See, people think that you just look at a picture, you walk away like normal. No, your subconscious is looking at these shapes. They're looking at these patterns. So
So
when your
so pretty much,
subconscious, hmm
so pretty much color psychology.
I mean, if you want to call it that or color alchemy or whatever it is, these
Okay.
colors can make you feel pissed off. It can make you feel like taking on the world. It can recharge your energy, your batteries. It can make you feel weak or whatever it is. But the combination that he used along with his knowledge that he gained from Blavatsky's camp, it had to make you think about how things are being put together. I mean, hell, people don't realize. Do people understand that the money is abstract? The money we spend is abstract art.
Hmm.
People don't understand that. And not only is abstract art, the shapes do a certain thing to you before you even spend it.
Oh wow.
But hey, I mean, this what we do. We just don't even ask questions. But yeah, there's a lot of power in abstract, but some people take it and just do all kinds of stupid stuff with it. But there's some real abstract out there that can heal you. Okay, there's some things that's really out there that can really. I mean, that's why. And you think about it, people paid a big buck for some of these abstract pieces.
Hmm.
And you were wondering like, man, why you paying all that? But no, there's a certain way you look at it is gonna make your body go back into certain areas and certain channels. So
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I would always tell people to study abstract, but it's just not my thing. I don't really create it that way though.
Yeah. I've also heard like that, like certain colors make animals and insects react in a certain way.
Yeah, look at the clouds. The clouds are abstract. Sometimes you see a bear in there, a horse,
Mm.
a hand grabbing something. It's what your subconscious is trying to make out of it. It's because your subconscious recording that stuff, and then your conscious mind has to figure out, okay, well, this is what you're sending me, so I'm gonna go ahead and express it this way. So it's best when you're dealing with me personally. I think when you're dealing with people in abstract, you need to deal with they need to deal with other people in abstract because sometimes when you're dealing with people that's not in abstract, they don't know what to say. They say stupid stuff, you know, and you should be asking questions. You should be really exploring, okay, what came out of your mind when or what was in your mind when this blue stroke was coming through. You got to really start picking it apart and asking the question because we're not mind readers, at least I'm not. So we'll be able to ask the artist what you're thinking. And sometimes when the artist is speaking on the abstract and you're asking about it, they'll answer the question sometimes and they're like, damn, it'll be, let's just say they'll answer the question, but it'd be the first time they gave that answer because they weren't even thinking about it. It was something from a spiritual experience, so I would definitely encourage people to really start exploring the abstract more and being more educated behind it.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's getting close to that hour mark, and I'm sure you gave a whole lot of info about art. So I'm gonna give you the floor to give me the last words, and I'll end the stream.
Okay. Um, I'm not able to see because I'm on my phone. I'm not able to see anybody in the chat or whatever. So peace to
Oh,
everybody in the chat. Thank
uh,
everybody
uh,
for coming.
hold
Go
on
ahead.
real quick. I see I had like I got a couple of questions. Let me go and get them for in this. Jack and Nova said, "Do you collect art?"
I don't collect much art. I probably collect more like Star Wars stuff. I would probably collect some like Vallejo. He's a good Boris Vallejo. I like fantasy art with muscles and muscle tones and anatomy. Um, and then there's a art piece called I think it's called the Guardian. It's a Moorish art piece there, but for the most part, I don't collect that much art because I'm too busy doing art, putting on the walls.
Okay. And I got one more from Silk BB Scratching. Can the same color give a different response to different people?
Oh, most definitely. You know, um, because for example, I talk about the archetypes of masculine and feminine. Like the main, if you're a masculine warrior, the last thing you want to see is blue. As a calming color. You want some action, you want red, you want orange, that kind of thing. But if you're a mother energy person, then blue is more welcoming. That's more in your element. So, yes, it's the same color will affect people in different ways.
Okay. So I don't see any more questions. So yeah, not now this time you have to give last words. So see any more questions.
Uh, okay, well, I mean, that's, if anybody have any other concerns or questions to address, then we can do a part two or something, or do some kind of build or what have you. But
Okay.
I appreciate you I'm gonna say I appreciate you coming through. My bad. I'm in your home. I appreciate you. I appreciate you inviting me through. Um, and yeah, I just hope that people just what do you call it? Just push for the best. Just push for their best. Stop pushing for something that someone else gave you. Just do your best from you, and I think you should be all right.
Okay. So I appreciate everybody coming through. Let's say shout out to Char Willie, Orion Star, Crew Reality, Donna Just Being Real, Silks BB Scratching, Information Man Show, Jack Novi, and Raining Woman. Appreciate y'all for stopping by. I forgot a Woman of the Past, yeah. And appreciate
Oh,
all y'all for
you named all my family members. Okay, that's cool.
yeah, they came by. Yeah, so appreciate all y'all for coming through. Oh, now we got just as short. Yeah, yeah, she. I mean, it's not a question, but it's funny. She's like he's an artist and he's sensitive about his.
You know what? It's not. Well, I'm not really that sensitive. I'm only sensitive when you ain't coming out with the money. So
Yeah,
that's where the money at. Shoot, forget the. But no, I'm not really that sensitive when it comes to art because I already know what I do. So not
yeah.
to be. I'm not trying to brag or nothing, but I've done this so
Mm,
many times. It's like when everybody say certain people saying certain things, they're like whatever. Oh,
mm,
one last thing, and I think y'all laugh. Now, speaking of sensitivity, you got some people that would try to tell you, okay, well, the nose is this way and that way. And then what I do sometimes, I pretend like I changed it. I say, how's that? They go, oh, that's better. Okay. So that's what I'm talking about. People just be saying stuff, just be saying it, man. I don't trip.
all right. Well, yeah. So with that, we'll end that. And if anybody have any more questions, for art, put it in the comment section, and and if there's enough demand, we'll bring the brother back on here for another go around.
Okay. Thanks everybody for coming out.
All right. So I'll see y'all later. Y'all have a good night, good day.